Hello and welcome to Nithrania Game Club. My name is Branislav Berec, and in this video I'm going to show you how to play Black Angel in the solo variant. I'm only going to describe the differences between the solo variant and the base game, because I already did a video for the base game rules, and there is a link in the description of this video. And at the end of that video I asked you whether you want a rules explanation for the solo variant. You said yes, so here it is. To set up the solo game, use only 5 strips for the spaceboard. Use only 4 dice of each color and remove 12 Ravager cards from the deck. Then set up your player board normally, but your virtual opponent will get no player board. So he doesn't need the starting technology tiles, he doesn't need the resource debris and a ship, and he doesn't need these cards. He only needs the discs, one of them to mark his compartment and the other one on the 5 space of the scoring track. And he needs robots. 1 robot in each of the workstations and all other robots in the break room. Finally, shuffle the deck of Hal's cards and place them face down like this. Roll dice for both players and you're ready to go. During the gameplay, you're always the first player and then it's Hal's turn. You always perform your actions normally, so you either take a sequence A or sequence B. Let's say I want to take a sequence A, use this die, and I want to get rid of these 2 Ravager cards. Then the die goes into the supply area and I would draw 1 green card. Then it is Hal's turn. If he has any dice in his compartment, draw the top card from the Hal's deck. Now, if you took the sequence A, Hal will perform the top action. If you took the sequence B, Hal would perform this bottom action. So, in our example, I took sequence A, so Hal is going to take the yellow die and perform the command your ship action. Hal will always take the die with the highest value, so in this case, it's number 2 in his own compartment. If the highest value die would be in your compartment, Hal will buy that die from you and you get a resource from the general supply. If there are more dice with the same value, Hal will prefer his own die. If Hal has to take the action and there are no dice of that color available, then look at the other section of the card and perform the other action. If there are no dice available for the first action, or you have a die of that color in your reserved area, which means it is unavailable to Hal, and in addition, there is also no die available in the second color, Hal would simply take the highest value die of the third color, and that die may even belong to you. Now, that die goes directly into the supply area, and Hal gets 3 victory points. Ravager cards have absolutely no effect on Hal's actions, except for these 2 cards, the ones that add the damage cubes to the Black Angel. So if Hal would perform this action, he has to place 1 damage cube on one of the grey dice. However, if he would perform this action or this action, these Ravager cards would have absolutely no effect. On the other hand, if Hal takes an action and the action space already contains 2 cubes, 2 damage cubes, he has to follow the standard rules and reduce the activation value by 1. And finally, Hal has no board and no storage. So if he would have to take any items like technology tiles or Ravager cards or debris or robots, ships, resources, he would take them, but he would immediately transfer them into victory points using this table. If Hal has no dice in his compartment, do not draw the card. Instead, roll dice for him, that means 1 die of each color. Place those dice back into his compartment and advance the Black Angel. If any of the Hal's cards are rejected, Hal would score 3 victory points. And he only gains 3 victory points, he doesn't get any other bonuses from the card. He would score those points for the ejected card even if you take the sequence B and you move the Black Angel ship. If the Hal's deck would get depleted, take all the discarded cards, shuffle them and create the new draw deck. And if you decide to buy one of the Hal's dice, you need to pay the resource from your storage and for that resource, Hal simply scores 1 victory point. Now we will go through each action on the Black Angel game board because Hal takes those actions slightly differently. If he would take the Discover the Technology action, he would take technology tiles and score victory points immediately. If the value of the die is 3, you need to look at this small symbol underneath the action symbol on the Hal's card. Here, only the standard technology tile is depicted. Here, there's both the advanced technology and the standard technology tile. So if Hal would play this card, this action, with the value 3, first he would take the topmost advanced technology tile. That's for 2 activations, and now for 1 activation, if there is a standard technology tile available, he would take that tile as well. If there are more technology tiles for 1 activations available, Hal always takes the topmost one. Then, for the advanced technology tile, Hal would immediately score 4 victory points, and for the standard tile, he would score 2 victory points. Slide all the advanced technology tiles up and refill the last empty space. If Hal would take the action with this symbol, he can only take these standard technology tiles. So for 3 activations, he would take the topmost standard technology tiles that costs 2 activations, and if available, the topmost standard technology tile which only costs 1 activation. Again, for these 2 tiles, he would immediately score 2 and 2 victory points. If he would have 3 activations and he would take the standard technology tile for 2 activations, and there is no tile for 1 activation, he takes no other tile. And in case there would be no technology tiles available, Hal would take nothing, but he would immediately score 3 victory points. If the die value would be 2, he would either take the topmost advanced technology tile or topmost standard technology tile, depending on which of these actions has been triggered. If the value of the die would be only 1, all he can do is take the standard technology tile which costs 1 activation, if it is available. However, if the die value would be 1, but there's no tile for the 1 activation available, Hal scores 3 victory points. And if Hal would be forced to use the die with a star value, which is a 0 value, again, he would take no tile at all, but he would simply score 3 victory points. If Hal would take this Repair the Black Angel action, then for each activation, he can remove 1 damage cube from the Black Angel board. And again, you need to look at this small symbol underneath the action symbol, and here you can see that he needs to go in a clockwise direction. So he starts with the first action and goes towards the 6th action. So in this example, he would remove first, second, and then the 3rd damage cube. He only removes the damage cube from the damage die if there are no other damage cubes on actions available. For each of those damage cubes, he would score 2 victory points, so 6 points total. If the same action with the counterclockwise symbol would be triggered, he would start from the 6th action, remove the 1st cube here, 2nd here, and 3rd from here. Again, in case there are no damage cubes on the Black Angel board, or the Hal is forced to take the action with the star value die, he simply gets 3 victory points. The Destroy the Ravagers action works in the same way as Repair the Black Angel action, even using the same logic on these small clockwise or counterclockwise symbols, and using the same standard rules for destroying the Ravager cards as in the base game. That means, when Hal removes the Ravager cards, he always has to remove all cards from 1 location. Now, when you take actions for Hal, try to maximize the effect of those actions. So even though Hal needs to go in the counterclockwise direction, so he starts from the number 6, and he would remove 1 card from this location, then 1 card from this location, but then he is not able to remove cards from location number 3 and number 2. That way, Hal would only get 2 Ravager cards. In such a scenario, Hal would maximize his action in such a way that he would remove this card first, he would skip this location, and then he would remove 2 Ravager cards from this location. and then for 3 Ravager cards he would score 2 victory points each. Again, if there are no Ravager cards on the board or he is forced to use the die with the 0 value, he would simply score 3 victory points. If Hal takes the command your ship action, the value of the die is completely irrelevant. First, draw the card of the same color. Then, if it's a neutralization mission, place it on the free hex of the same color on the last strip, which is the strip which will be the next one ejected from the spaceboard. Naturally, it's a neutralization mission and Hal wants to use those effects as soon as possible. If there's no such hex on the last strip, place it to the second to last strip, and so on and so forth. If there are more hexes of the same color available, place the card on the hex with this comet. If you do place it on a hex with a comet, as this small symbol indicates, Hal would immediately get 3 victory points. Then take one of the Hal's robots from the break room and place it on the card, gaining that reward immediately. Then, similar to the standard game, Ravagers would appear and also the technology tiles would be added to the display. The only difference is that Hal doesn't need the ships. If instead you would draw the activation mission card, place that card on the first strip if there is a hex available, if not on the second strip, and so on and so forth. Again, if there are more hexes available, place it on the one with the comet and Hal would gain 3 victory points. Then take a robot, place it on the reward space, Hal gets that reward, then activate the Ravagers if there are any, and add new technology tiles. If you would decide to take a die and activate a mission card, which belongs to Hal, similar to standard rules, Hal would get 1 activation of the card effect. In that case, you can completely ignore the requirements on the left side and simply give Hal the bonus on the right side, so in this case he would get 2 victory points. If Hal would get any items, transform those items into victory points immediately. The game ends in the same way as the standard game, so either by depleting the Ravager deck or when the Black Angel reaches the planet Spes. Sum up your victory points in the same way as in the standard game, so you get bonuses for advanced technology tiles and some resources, but Hal will get no additional victory points. And then whoever has the most points is the winner. So that's how you play Black Angel in a solo variant, and there's 2 more things that I want to add from my own personal experience. First, I love this game and I love it even in a solo variant. It's really good. I like it. I like every single game I play. Second, Hal is a tough opponent. Really tough. He scores a lot of victory points and I rarely win. So don't be surprised when you lose. Don't be surprised when you lose miserably. Hal is a really tough opponent. So you need to figure out how to make your strategy work. It's significantly short. It feels significantly shorter than the standard game. Anyway, it's a lot of fun. I really like it. So that's it. If you have any questions or comments, please put them into the comment sections below. If you like the video and if you like my show, please subscribe. You've been watching Game in a Nutshell. My name is Branislav Berec and hope to see you next time.